And we'll start with the latest news at this moment. Massive protests have broken out outside the Kerala Assembly by left parties. A huge number of Left and BJP protesters were gathered outside the Assembly. The police have had to resort to lathi charge to control the protesters. The left has made it clear it will not allow Finance Minister K.M. Mani to present the budget today. However, in that din, the budget was presented. At least a portion of it was read and the rest was accepted as read, and papers laid on the table of the House. Now, Mani has been accused of taking bribe to keep bars open in the state. Interestingly, Mani and some others spent the night inside the Assembly. LDF MLAs are already inside the Assembly and will gather around Mani's seat in the House. These are in fact visuals coming in from outside the Assembly. The two window that you see, on one hand is the protest that went on inside the Assembly, and on the right hand side you see visuals of that lathi charge that was carried out, where the crowd was actually dispersed from bang outside the Vidhan Sabha in Thiruvananthapuram. Let's quickly go across to Rohini Swami joining us at this moment. Rohini, do we know what exactly is the situation outside the Vidhan Sabha at this moment?
What we know is, as of now, it has calmed down, but protests will continue through the day, is what I'm given to understand by the opposition, that includes the BJP and the LDF. But also, absolute pandemonium broke out here at the Assembly in Kerala, where not only the LDF had earlier also had said that they will not allow the budget to be presented, but here, on a token way, it was presented. One page was read, which is as good as what is considered by the Speaker, that the budget has been tabled. A lot of first, we have unprecedented things that we saw in the Kerala Assembly. Not just the ruckus in the well of the House, but we've also seen how even the Speaker did not come into the Assembly, but gave permission to present the budget from his room.
Absolutely.
Now, these are things that possibly, this clearly shows that one thing is, these are the people who upkeep our law. These are people who make our laws. If they themselves are resorting to lawlessness, the question is, when they go out to the people and ask for their votes, and election is just round the corner in Kerala, with what faith will they go? And now is another thing in terms of what is happening outside the Kerala Assembly. Protests are continuing. There were lathi charges, there were water cannons that were opened out to try and arrest the protest over there. But what I'm given to understand when I'm speaking to people over there is it will be a day-long protest. They will continue to protest because they said K.M. Mani had serious bribery charges against him, and he should have stepped down as the minister long back. He still, and according to them, and the allegation that is being put by the opposition is, he still has the audacity to continue as the finance minister of the state and also present the budget. K.M. Mani has said these are only allegations, and it has yet to be proved. There were even audio tapes that were released by various people on these allegations. But end of the day, we've seen this kind of pandemonium in the Kerala Assembly, though it was expected there would be protests, but not to this extent.
Absolutely. This completely went out of control. Let's also quickly go across to T.S. Sudhir, who joins us at this moment, because in these pictures that you can see, there is an unusual amount of force that has been deployed outside the Kerala Assembly. And the latest, Sudhir, that we are hearing is that some incidents of stone pelting have also been reported from outside the Kerala Assembly.
Sanket, a lot of developments have taken place in the last 20 minutes. One, the Finance Minister K.M. Mani read 2 pages of the budget speech inside the Assembly, and as we speak right now, he's reading out the remaining portion of his budget in the media room in the presence of journalists. So again, something extremely unprecedented taking place, that the Finance Minister of Kerala is reading out his budget speech in the presence of journalists on live television in the media room of the Kerala Assembly complex. The other point that I would want to make is that the CPM leader Pinarayi Vijayan has said that the protest which was mounted by the opposition LDF inside the Kerala Assembly has been successful, and he makes a point that the budget which has been presented in the absence of the Speaker in the Kerala Assembly cannot be taken as valid. So in that sense, making a technical point whether the budget will be taken as presented by K.M. Mani on the floor of the House. But yes, outside the Kerala Assembly, scenes of protest still taking place. Youth wings of all the left parties, the Congress as well as BJP were protesting outside Kerala Assembly, and the police had to resort to lathi charge, water cannons and tear gas shells to ensure that the situation was brought under control But yes, inside the Kerala Assembly, the situation is under control because 3 MLAs had fainted and they had to be rushed for medical attention. But yes, the Finance Minister, as we speak, giving his budget speech outside the Kerala Assembly, outside the House, technically in the presence of journalists as we speak.
Now, Sudhir, do also describe what happened inside the House. I mean, how LDF members, how the MLAs actually started, those unruly scenes where chairs were being thrown, papers were torn, and also, women colleagues manhandled.
Well, this was building up since yesterday evening, Sanket, because KM Mani decided to stay put inside the Kerala Assembly, room number 617, and stay there for the night. This was because the LDF MLAs had said that they will not allow him to get inside the Kerala Assembly on Friday morning to present his speech at 9 a.m. So this was in an attempt to preempt the opposition MLAs from doing anything like that. So as a result, all the UDF ministers, all the UDF MLAs, as well as the opposition MLAs also stayed put inside the Kerala Assembly for the night. So in a sense, this was building up. The opposition plan was to prevent KM Mani from exiting his room and get inside the Kerala Assembly to present his budget. They succeeded in that effort to an extent, but the deployment of the watch and watch staff in large numbers ensured that KM Mani could reach his chair. He was surrounded by the watch and watch staff. He was surrounded by senior MLAs of the UDF, and he read out 2 pages of his budget. So in that sense, technically, he was seen as having presented his budget on the floor of the House, and the remaining portion is what he's reading out in the media room as we speak. But something like this, of course, will have to be seen whether it will be technically taken as presented, but definitely for the most literate state in India, for its MLAs to behave in such an unruly manner, throwing away all the chairs, throwing away all the furniture on the speaker's podium, even as he was not present inside the assembly, definitely has brought shame to the state of Kerala.
Absolutely. T.S. Sudhir getting us all the latest. In fact, as you can see on the screen right now, it's a pretty much a developing situation both inside and outside the assembly. As Sudhir was mentioning that the finance minister is reading the remainder of his speech in front of the media and not on the floor of the House, which is absolutely unprecedented. And what is happening outside is that a huge contingent of the police has in fact been deployed to disperse the crowd that was gathered to protest outside the assembly. So they have been dispersed. Of course, tear gas shells were used, those pictures that we brought you just a short while ago, as well as lathi charge that was done. Some stone pelting also took place. In the meanwhile, as many as 3 MLAs fainted. They have been rushed to the hospital. Their status, the medical status at this moment is still not clearly known. You can see that the police officer there carrying tear gas shells with him at this moment. Sudhir, just take us through what really to expect from here on. I mean, what is the ruling coalition over there saying? How much are they ready to relent, and how would this impasse actually end?
Well, the UDF will obviously see this as some kind of a moral victory that they have managed to present the budget in the Kerala Assembly. But yes, unofficially, the election campaign for the Assembly elections in summer next year has in a sense begun, because obviously the LDF has upped the ante. They went all out to ensure that KM Mani was not able to present the budget. They did not technically succeed in that effort to prevent him from reading out his budget speech. But yes, this will really raise the political temperature within Kerala in the run-up to the Assembly elections, because both the LDF and UDF do realize that corruption is going to be the main issue in the Assembly elections as an election issue. And even on the streets of Kerala, we have seen since November, when the first time the whistleblower raised the allegations of corruption against the finance minister, there has been a lot of talk. There have been people who actually been contributing little sums of money to send to KM Mani by money order, telling him not to accept that. So in a sense, the whole image of a tainted finance minister may actually come to hit the UDF quite badly. And this is what the LDF really wants to do. And they want to keep up the pressure both inside the assembly and outside the assembly on the streets to ensure that people do realize that this is going to be the main issue on which they will have to vote in the assembly elections next year. The UDF will find itself on the back foot. Human Chandi will find it difficult to defend his finance minister, who is under this cloud of corruption, as the reason why he continued to back his finance minister despite serious allegations of corruption.
Absolutely. Sudhir there joining us with all the latest. Let's quickly get in a word from Rohini Swami also, and after that we'll take a short commercial break. Rohini, what really for, Mr. Oomen Chandy particularly, as Sudhir was mentioning, elections are drawing nigh. And that is why you can see what is actually happening on the streets. This is both political parties upping the ante.
Absolutely, and as Sudhir also pointed out, the fact that Mr. Oomen Chandy, the Chief Minister of Kerala, stands red-faced as in today, and the fact that while he was there right in the assembly when the budget was being presented, we've seen how the opposition did protest the way they have done. Unprecedented scenes that we have seen, unprecedented things that are happening in the Kerala Assembly. Yes, upping the ante, the swords have been pulled out for the elections, but it is very clear, it's always been the case in Kerala, where between the LDF and the UDF, we have seen such kind of fireworks that have taken place, but very clearly here, in terms of how it will turn out to be for the elections, this is something where it is going to be interesting, especially for the voters themselves, to see how the UDF and LDF will come out to the streets and will fight these elections which are coming just round the corner next year. And the point is that how will the UDF actually support or bring forth, especially people like K. Amani and who they have there are allegations against, how will they present these candidates to the people, and the LDF will...
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was Rohini Swami joining us. Thanks very much, Rohini. Rohini Swami joining us with all the latest that is happening in Kerala. We will stay on top of this particular story.